eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
And we're live. What the hell is going on, everyone? What a pleasure it is to see you all. It's been too long, and I've missed you guys, and I've even treated myself and all of us with a beer because it is 5 o'clock somewhere in the world. It's actually 7 o'clock here, so you know what? That might even mean I have two. This is a Vietnamese beer, Huda. It's called Huda, and it's actually quite nice. So considering that we're kicking back tonight, I actually have a few things I want to talk about. I've got a few things written down here that we're going to go over, so it should be a fun stream. But considering that we're just kicking back and we're taking it easy, I'm going to treat myself to a beer. And if it is a suitable hour, wherever you are, I hope you are as well. Cheers to that. Before we go any further, I have to give a massive shout out to the people in Discord. Look at this, people. Look at this. Now, if you're not familiar with Discord, you're probably thinking, what the hell is this? This timer right there, that is a timer, okay? That is a timer that has been running for the amount of time people have been active in the voice chat in the members section of our Discord. And yes, you're reading that correctly. It says 100 hours, 1 minute, and 26 seconds. Okay, people have been in our voice chat day and night from all over the world, hanging out. You can see Rambro was live, Serp was live. People are in there hanging out, streaming TV shows, chatting. I'm telling you, people, if you're not in there, you are missing out on the best corner of the internet. And I'll just say as well that I totally understand. You might be watching this and being like, man, that looks really cool. I would love to go hang out and talk in there, but I'm just a little bit anxious. Like, I'm a little bit nervous to go and talk to people that I don't even know. I've been in a lot of Discords in my life. As you guys know, I'm a nerd, okay? Play many video games. I'm a nerd, been in many Discords, talk to many people. It can be nerve-wracking joining a group we don't know and just kind of inserting yourself into the voice channel. Totally get it. But let me reassure you that this group of people are some of the most kindest, welcoming, awesome, friendly people to speak to. And I promise you won't feel like an outsider. So shout out to these guys, Rambro, Serp, Bleak, Krista, Luke, also known as Lucas, also known as Luke Hatz, Roy G. Biv, and Weirona Farm. And obviously many other people who contributed to the 100 hours that marathon that's been happening. I'm not going to try and name you all because I'll probably forget some, and I don't want to leave anyone out, but these are the guys that were there at the 100-hour mark. So absolute legends. Now, while we're hanging out today, you can see I've got up here, this is the live stream from the Artemis moon mission. Now, obviously, conveniently right now, we're just getting a visualization. Okay, this is from the NASA live feed. So this is NASA's live feed right now of the moon mission. And I guess the cameras are cut. I guess they've probably encountered a band of reptilians out in space. So naturally, you know, the cameras happen to stop working at that point. But it is here, and we will monitor the situation. I think if I flick on the audio, yeah, it's nothing. You just get this like weird little hum. But if we see sort of any action up there, I'll try and put on the audio and we can tune in. And if something seems to be popping off there and I don't notice, then get my attention. Get my attention in the chat. I'm sure you guys will. Warhawk, welcome back for 4 months. And he says, good morning, weirdos. Thank you very much, Warhawk. Recycled Teenager gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Recycled. And Shannon Pulkowski put in $2. Shannon, you are very generous. I appreciate you very much. So, what's been going on? Okay, I guess we should talk about the moon mission. I've been kind of away from the internet and the computer a little bit for the last couple of days. So I feel like I've kind of been a little bit out of touch with everything that's happening. Obviously, you're checking your phone, you're sort of seeing what's going on, but I haven't had the time to put in the usual degen hours that I would be. This moon mission, okay? This moon mission, Artemis, the first crewed mission to go back to the moon. Now, I don't believe they're landing. They're intending to orbit the moon a handful of times, I believe. This is the first time we've done this since apparently we went there in the Apollo missions. And of all the days they could have done it, with all the controversy around the moon, they've launched this mission on April Fool's Day. You can't make this up. And on top of that, I also feel like it hasn't really been a big story. Now, I don't know if that's, I think if I don't know, maybe we're just flooded with information and things are fighting for top story. But a mission back to the moon, I feel like this should be a priority for everyone. But instead, what is a priority is all of the terrible shit going on in the Middle East. That seems to be a priority, which is unfortunate because I feel like something like this, whether it's entirely CGI and fake like the last one potentially was, I don't know, but it could have been. Even if it is, at least it would raise the morale. At least it would lift people's spirits in these very tumultuous times that we are living in right now. And I think we could all use a bit of that. So it's sad it's not getting bigger, but you know what? I think, you know what, maybe tomorrow, if I can dig up a bunch of like information and some stuff that looks interesting, maybe we can do like just a moon landing, kind of like another Hangout stream, but we'll maybe dig a bit deeper into this moon mission. We'll see what I can dig up, but I think this deserves a bit more coverage. And I think people in this space, we can all choose what we want to cover. And speaking of this, my recent upload was with Dana Kipple. I had her on for an interview, which was fantastic, by the way. I really enjoyed talking to her. And because, again, we can all choose the content that we cover. And I do feel like it's very easy to cover the doom and gloom stuff because that is kind of the topics that get pushed to us the most. Like that is kind of at the forefront, right? Unfortunately, that just kind of is the way that it is. And it almost feels like you kind of have to go out of your way a little bit if you want to really try and push a message of positivity and something a bit more refreshing. And I feel like my interview with Dana Kipple was that. It was a really fun and positive, thought-provoking conversation. And I hope you guys enjoyed it too. It was interesting. And I think, from the comments, most of you guys did, which is great. I did notice there was a lot of comments like, nothing she's saying is true. This can't be proved by science. This is all just a theory. And I just was thinking like, you realize you're commenting on a channel that like focuses on like aliens and UFOs. And you're upset that like what someone is saying is just a theory. Like, did you forget where you're watching this video? I'm not sure. But I thought that was kind of funny because, yeah. And I think even at the beginning of the interview, Dana was like openly saying that this is like a theory. And a lot of this stuff came to her in what we would call a download. So, kind of wonder, it kind of makes me wonder if people watch podcasts with their speakers turned off sometimes. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I thought she was great. And it's the same with some of the stuff I say on here. Like a lot of the time, I don't even know where I'm pulling shit from. And I'm open and I'm not trying to convince anyone, but just kind of speaking from the heart and how you feel. And if it resonates with people, amazing. If it doesn't, that's okay. You don't have to leave an angry comment. You can just move along. Move along. They watch with their minds turned off too. I think so sometimes, sir. But not you guys, though. You guys are real ones. Even hypothetical and spiritual stuff is worth debating and getting the shiny bits out. Well said. Thank you, Raven. I agree. And, at the end of the day, you guys all know this. I'm preaching to the choir here, but like this channel it's not like I'm not a scientific, facts-driven only channel. And that's not saying, I want to just put anything on here because I don't. But like, I also think that to progress humanity, you have to be sort of brave enough to think beyond what is accepted. And that doesn't mean you're right, obviously, but like it takes people thinking outside of the current paradigm to actually propel humanity forward in the way that we interact with each other, the way we navigate reality. And I do that because I think the way it's happening right now is pretty cooked. And Obviously it is, right? I don't even know if that's up for debate. For the most part, it needs improvement. Okay, we need to renovate. So in the spirit of renovations, let's think outside the box a little bit and not be afraid to do that. And that's something I encourage everyone else to do as well. Is don't be afraid of ridicule from people who are afraid to think outside the box, because they are what we like to call an NPC. And you don't want to let NPCs get in your way going on your own path, because they're just mad that they're not on theirs. Josh, it's your channel. Do what resonates with you. Yes, exactly, Kelly. And that's what I try to live by. You know, that's what I try to live by, because I feel like that's what got me here. So I'm not going to stop doing that now. And, you know, sometimes we'll get things wrong. Sometimes we'll investigate. Sometimes we'll investigate tubes that turn out to be made by some skinny dweeb in the mid northeast. But you know what? I do think that had we not, this is the thing, had we not have investigated James and even the Alistair Dread sphere, for as another example, had we not have put such a eye and focus on that, I think both of those things could still be playing out. They could still be dangling. People could still be yes-knowing over it. I feel like when you turn the attention onto it, because I believe in the power of the internet. Like I said, I'm a nerd, okay? Spend much time on the internet. I know that the internet solves things. There are crazy investigators on the internet. And when you get enough attention on something, the internet will sort it out. And that's why I like it. That's why I like it. So, you know, I'm not afraid of looking into a tube that might be fake, as long as it means we get a definitive answer either way, and then we can all get on with our lives. You have to think outside the box or else it's a coffin. Oh, Jacqueline. Yeah, I like it. Put that on a t-shirt, I think. It was hilarious, though. We had fun. And that's another thing, Kelly. I agree. Those investigations, like they're exciting. They're fun. It's like an exciting mystery. And, you know, unfortunately, when you figure it out, when you figure out that it's not what you wanted it to be, it's obviously it's a little bit disappointing, because we're all like just hooked on this mystery, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're here. But it does make you, I think it makes us all a little bit sharper, a little bit smarter. Is this something happening on the? Okay, this seems to keep happening. My live feed for NASA is changing, but it's not changing on this screen. So give me a sec, and I'll reload it so you guys can see. We do have a little bit of something. Do you have any sound?
Here in Mission Control Houston. One of the first calls we heard was from NASA astronaut Victor Glover, who was reporting some of the AGA, or anomaly gas analyzer readings. The AGA is a portable laser-based instrument that detects trace contaminants aboard Orion.
Check out, just confirm you are handling step 1 of 21.2.8.
And good morning, Reed. Yes, we are taking care of step 1, and in step 2, the antenna will be number 3.
Okay, bunch of stuff that I don't understand, but we'll keep an eye on it. Fantastic. Palm Beach Pete. Oh, man, let's not even go there. Did you guys see? I said let's not even go there, but I'll say this and then we won't go there. Did you guys see that he's selling merch now? Palm Beach Pete is selling merch. And guys, I just have to say, I know people don't like talking about this, but I can't help but feel like this whole thing, there's something strange about it, man. I'm telling you, this guy's fame is artificial. His virality, his push into superstardom is artificial. This shit is not organic. I just don't believe it. I could be wrong. Yes, Rambro. Interesting. Rambo says, of course he is. It's another hot tour thing. It's so weird how these like overnight celebrities pop up. They get thrust onto all these talk shows, and then they've got Shopify stores. Like, again, Palm Beach Pete now has merch. He's hawking off his merch that says Palm Beach Pete on the hat. And it's like, first of all, no one wants to wear the merch of the guy that looks like a child trafficker. Okay, so like, what is this about? And also, like, I'm sorry, but like, you don't have any fans. Merch is for people who are your fans. You're viral because you look exactly like a child trafficker who many people don't actually think is dead, and they think you're him. So the fact that you're going on all of these like weird talk shows, and now you have a merch store, and then you keep posting these updates like, if anyone's asking where Palm Beach Pete is right now, this is what I'm doing. It's like, dude, this is a psy-op. I can feel my mind being pushed in ways that are completely unorganic. It feels wrong. Something about it just feels weird and wrong. And that's all we'll say about Palm Beach Pete today. But I think you guys are with me on that. Nope, NASA have just got the blue screen of death. And we're back to the visualizer. They must have encountered the reptiles again. They'll do it to you. They will do it to you. Isn't it crazy that Bill Tompkins said that on the original moon mission, they met reptilians up there? Bill Tompkins, who was a spy, and actually, no, he wasn't a spy, but he was involved in like espionage type things, right? From memory, in World War II. And he basically said that in a deathbed confession. And it's just so mind-bending, dude. Like, why? Are you telling the truth as a deathbed confession? Like, that would make more sense. But what you're saying is just so outlandish that it's like, it's just so crazy. It's just so crazy. I'm not opposed to it, though. Rambro with 9 months says, thanks, Captain, for giving us this great space to hang out and everything you do. Much love to you and the weirdos. Love this weirdo family. My pleasure, Rambro. Love you too, man. Hope you're going to make contact in the desert, dude. I really do. Fully Read in, gifted 10 memberships. Fully Read, you the man. Let's get some love in the chat for Fully Read. That is a big gift for the people. Old Soul Joe says, just want to say, Dana Kipple interview was amazing. Loved every minute of it, and mega thanks to you, Josh, for the best channel of all and the stuff and people you bring forward. I'm all in. Love that, Old Soul Joe. Thank you very much for the kind words, and it's all my pleasure. Really, we have a symbiotic relationship here. Absolutely. And he's gifted 5 memberships. Old Soul Joe. Let's get some love in the chat for Joe. Thank you very much. Pew Burrito says, Josh, can you ask Nathaniel Gillis for the video footage of the Grey who peers into the camcorder? Pew Burrito, I feel like Nathaniel Gillis doesn't have a copy of it, because if he did, I'm almost positive that he would show it. Now, I'm not saying that means it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that, like, from my understanding with Nathaniel Gillis, a lot of the things that he talks about are sort of coming from case reports that he's learning about through his partner, which is Steve Mirror. And yeah, so I think it's a bit of a maybe like one step removed as some of these cases that he talks about, because I'm sure, like, if I was going to tell you about something and I had a video of it, I'm obviously going to show you the video, right? Because it supports my case. So I think by putting those things together, we can probably come to the conclusion that he doesn't have the video. Yvonne Pandora with 5 months says, I'm so happy to be a weirdo for 5 months. So am I, Yvonne. So am I. Thank you very much for the $5. And Angel Lee Ray, I think that's right, $5. Thank you very much, Angel. Severed Culture says, have you heard the latest? Trump is building a laser-proof bunker under his ballroom, and he said that the drones aren't foreign tech. I think I did hear something about this. The bunker underneath the ballroom, isn't this like something to do with like AI data centers, or am I confusing this with something else? Laser-proof bunker. Are they protecting themselves from the Goy beam? Is this the ballroom? It probably is a ballroom. It probably is a ballroom, and underneath is the Goy beam bunker. You heard data center too? Yeah, I don't know if this is like another building or something, but I've heard about large AI data centers. He addressed the nation last night. Okay, interesting. I've been a little bit AFK for a while, which is, sorry, I'm talking like a nerd. AFK means away from keyboard. I'm such a nerd. Sorry. I've been a bit out of the loop, I should say. Angel Lee says, I wanted to share an idea about the Kash Patel hack. Seemed too easy to hack FBI director, but who really benefits? Israel. Inside help, perhaps. Seemed too... Why does it... Oh, interesting. Okay, I see what you're saying. Because if this is actually Iran hacking them, it's just providing motivation for people to attack them back. Interesting. I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, Kash Patel's wife is, she is Israeli, right? Like, isn't that like a known fact? She is from Israel. So there's that. There's that. But, you know, not everyone from Israel is a bad person, obviously. It's the government. And we should all be able to criticize the government without criticizing the people. And speaking of Iran and governments and people and criticizing making distinction between who you're criticizing, what I did see actually when I just got back today was a message from the leader of Iran that was basically to the people of America. Did any of you guys see this? This is really interesting. He was basically saying, like, you know, Iran has always drawn a line between the government and the people, and like all the problems that we have. Like, we understand that American people like do not want war and are not like the government. And Iran have only ever increased their military power as a form of resistance to the oppressive nature of the West, and that they've never fired on like civilians because they make that distinction and they think that that's important for like the collective consciousness of humanity. It was a really interesting read. If I find it again, it's on X. I'm sure you guys could find it. I'm sure, you know, anyone who's not willing to sort of like open their mind a little is immediately just going to say that it's like, you know, disinfo, propaganda, whatever. And, you know, maybe it is. Maybe it is. But what I find interesting is like when I look at like the nature of the language, when I look at the nature of the language of that, it seems far more like wanting peace and resolution. As for the nature of the language and actions of Israel, which, remember, this war started with because Israel, or maybe even America, I mean, you know, kind of the same thing. So the West made a preemptive strike. Okay, this is how this started, because it was like, hey, they're gonna hit us. They're gonna hit us. We have to hit them first. We have to hit them first. I know that they're gonna hit us. We have to hit them first. And that's how this all started, right? Now, I've told you guys this before. That doesn't work in court. You can't do that in court. If you're out on the street and you just deck someone, and then when you go to court, you go, he was going to hit me. I know he was going to hit me, so I had to knock him out. I just had to. It doesn't work. And I don't think it should work in this context either. Because, you know, we've been being told for like 30 years now. Literally, there are videos from the 80s of Schmet and Schmarshmu saying Iran are like 3 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon. This is in the 80s. And then he says the same in like 2000. They are like 5 minutes away from a nuclear weapon. Yep. And now here we are in 2026. They are so close to having a nuclear weapon. Oh my God, we have to strike them. We have to strike them first. See how that holds up in court. Actually, you know what? It'd probably hold up in court because who owns the courts? Who runs the justice system? Yeah. Yep. What a shame. What a shame, huh? And still, Baal. Yes, that's right. Baal does run the justice system. He really does. And, you know, people will see this and be like, we got to vote our way out of this. People will see this and be like, well, I'm definitely not voting Republican this time. Oh, sure, dude. I think, yeah. Hey, that might fix it, bro. Hey, that actually might fix it, man. Good luck. That actually might work this time. What's that? This is like the 100th time that you think it might fix it? Oh, okay. What's the definition of insanity again? Like doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? Okay, vote your way out of it. Good luck. S-Tone says, happy full moon. I wonder what the lizards are doing. I wonder, they're probably there waiting. They're probably there waiting for Artemis to arrive so they can fire the Goy beam directly in their eyes. Thank you very much, S-Tone. Appreciate you. And Honey Bear, thank you very much for the $2, guys. Yeah, interesting comment though, Angel. Interesting comment. Sorry, went on a wild tangent there, but yeah, could be. Who was it? Hendala? Hendala was their name, this hacking group. I can't really say I know much about the history of them, but it would be a good way to, I guess, look into that would be to look at this group in the past, like what they've done, when they've done things. Like, is it always around these like tense political moments in time, or is it just sort of like random and now they're shifting their focus? I don't know. I'm not deep enough on the lore with that, unfortunately. Christ is a drug term. It is a drug term. Depending on the context, of course. I mean, if I said Christ to you right now, I'm sure most people wouldn't assume that I'm talking about taking drugs. But if we are talking about Sweet Mother Greek, then we are absolutely talking about drug terms. Yep. Rambro gifted a membership. Thank you very much, sir. You guys have been extra generous tonight. I appreciate you all. So, you guys might have noticed as well that a couple of videos popped up in the last couple of days on Polarity 2.0. So if you don't know, this is my second channel that I was trying to get up and running a while ago with clips from the live streams, because I know that, you know, I live stream a lot. Sometimes they're a couple of hours and you don't all have the time to watch them all, even if you want to. And sometimes, if I say so myself, there are really good bits, like, you know, 2 hours into a stream, an hour and 40 minutes into a stream, there might be like a good 20-minute segment that we hit or something interesting happens. And you guys miss out on that. And it's been that way for a long, long time. And that's why I've wanted to do this clips channel. So it's linked below. It's Polarity 2.0. And I've just started working with an editor. And I have to say, I won't name him just in case, but shout out to you. Killing it, bro. He's doing a really, really good job. And I think it's going to work really well. So if you can't catch all the live streams, and if you just want to support me as well, subscribe to that. It's linked below, Polarity 2.0. And there's probably going to be clips going up there probably daily now from the live streams, probably segments from podcasts as well that I'm doing. So yeah, if you guys could support that, that'd mean a lot to me and to him. We're gonna help spread Polarity even further. We're gonna spread our wings, and we are gonna defeat Baal together. That's right. Good job, Mr. Mysterious Editor. Actually, you know what? He has let me just make sure I get it right. He has a company name, which I'll use. Live Supercut. That's what he goes by for business. So shout out to Live Supercut. And the reason why it's working so well is because he's a weirdo. Okay. And this was important to me. It wasn't a necessity, but I knew a good editor would be someone who already watches the show and who knows the topics, who understands like what's interesting and what isn't. And he is that. So yeah, shout out to Live Supercut. I think it's going to work really well. I'm excited. Also, exciting news. This happened. Yeah. And you know, I mean, I've already posted it now, so people have seen it, but this will be the next podcast getting posted on the channel. Now, I know people, I've put my foot in it now, because I know I'm going to feel the wrath of people going, when's the podcast with Chris dropping? When's the podcast with Chris coming out, bro? Hey, when's Area 52 podcast dropping, bro? Is that coming out soon? Are you posting that? Is this live? Is that coming out soon? Have you already posted that? When's Chris coming out, dude? Bear with me, people. It's coming, I promise. But I'm really excited. And it was a really fun conversation. Flip it and ship it. It was a really fun conversation. Chris is a lovely man, very humble, generous with his time. And I will have a 2 hour and a little bit podcast coming out with him. I'm going to say next weekend. So not the Easter weekend. The one after that is when I'm expecting to do it. But I will say that on Sunday, it's now Thursday. On Sunday, I'm moving to Thailand. So, got to settle into a new country. Give me a chance. I'll do my best for next week. But I am really excited for you guys to see that because it was a great conversation. Like sometimes you do podcasts and it's like, oh yeah, that was good. That was okay. Then some podcasts just flow and bounce really well. And I think that was one of them. So it should be good. Moving. Yes, Susie. Yep, I'm moving to Thailand. To Bangkok, to be exact. Don't come and track me down, okay? I'm trying to dox myself, but yes, I'm moving to Bangkok, and I'll be there for about a month. Can't keep up with these young people. Look, I'm a free spirit right now. I'm a free spirit. You can never guess my next move unless I tell you. Don't swear. Sorry. We'll call it bang. I don't know. Fill in the blank. You know what I'm saying. Sounds painful? Yeah. That's the one. Did you feel the earthquake this morning? No, I didn't. But I did hear about that. There was a 7.8 magnitude earthquake in just sort of like northeast of Indonesia. And shout out to Rambro, my boy looking out for me, sent me a message straight away. So I found out through Rambro. So thank you, dude. So I quickly checked where it was. And luckily, like from where Indonesia is, it was like on the other side compared to where I am now in Vietnam. So no, didn't feel anything. All safe here, luckily. But I did wonder if there, after this earthquake, I don't know if this is a bit insensitive to say, but like one of my first thoughts was, I wonder if there is like an octagonal 300-foot UFO there with people in black camis swooping up earthquake victims to be taken underground in America and used as psionics. That's like, was like my probably second thought after being told. Like, is this the playbook? Is this the playbook? You aim up the big you aim up the big green laser beam that Eric Hecker saw in Antarctica. You fire it at these sort of like third world developing countries, and then you bring in the 300-foot UFO from Lockheed Martin with the Department of Energy boys. You scoop up the victims, and now you have a whole new psionics team. I think that could be the playbook. I can't prove it, but it could. You can see how it works. It's like, when instead of just doing like a recruitment drive and putting an ad on Seek like a normal person, you just rupture the tectonic plates and scoop up what you need. Okay, we don't take any prisoners here at the Department of Energy. We take what we want. I'm not suicidal, by the way. Just saying. Sorry, I missed a comment. It is after dark, so I am trying to read your comments, but you guys know me. Sometimes I just start rambling and I completely stop reading the comments. I do apologize. This is meant to be an interactive show where we all get a chance to speak. We all have the right to speak today. I've gifted you all the right to speak. God damn, I've lost it. My apologies, team. Okay, I'm going back to the bottom. Josh, you should write a novel or a movie script. Interesting you say that, Tracy. After my conversation with Dana, she was heavily encouraging me to write a book, which was interesting. She was heavily encouraging me to write a book, and she just felt like her intuition was telling her that's something that I should do. And I think a few other people have said this to me before, or at least other people have asked me if I wanted to write a book. And I feel like if I was going to write a book, I don't know if it would be on what people like think it would be. I don't know. If I was going to write a book, there's always a book. It's funny you say that too, Ace of Hearts, because in the comments of the interview with Dana Kipple, it's so funny. People are just like, yep, of course there's a book. Grifter. It's like, wait, so does that mean if I write a book, I discredit myself? Is that how that works? Like, you could be completely honest, but if you write a book about it, you're a piece of shit grifter now. Like, you can be a completely honest person and write a book full of truth, but if you sell it for money, you're a grifting piece of shit because you're not allowed to do that. You're only allowed to get your content out through YouTube and other mediums. But if you write a book, you are a grifting piece of shit and everyone should not listen to you because you're a liar. That's what happens when you write a book, apparently. So, you know, a little bit nervous about writing a book because, you know, wouldn't want to be called a grifter by the, you know, Dungeon Alliance of the people on X. But no, if I did write a book, it would be about like sort of, I don't know how to word this without sounding stupid. It'd be like a self-improvement kind of book. And that sounds very lame and not what like, you know, because I'm not like a guru, right? But it would just be about like things that have helped me and how to take control of the things that you can take control of. Because that's all you can do, right? You can't try to control everything in your life. It's just the things you can control. And maybe just like a bit of a guide on like trying to, you know, get your head and your heart and yourself in alignment and blocking out all the baddies. You know what I mean? Because I think those things can actually, it seems simple and not like you're not doing much, but I think those things can actually make a big difference in your life. Small things, big difference. Is that the title? Did we just come up with the title? No, I don't know. But yeah, that's if I was going to do it, and maybe I will one day, that's probably the direction I would head with it for sure. And then obviously you could call me Polarity Josh, the piece of shit line grifter. That would be my new YouTube name after that, of course, because you can't have a book and be an honest person. Title is Polarity. Yeah, that would actually be a nice clean title. That would be a nice clean title. I do like that. That also works for maximizing the grift trajectory. Tech bros love self-help gurus. Kidding. I would totally read it. Need the advice. Thanks, man. Yeah, and that's why I was hesitant to say like self-help, because I feel like the last thing the internet needs is another life coach. Okay? Everyone's a life coach. And, you know, quite often, and like the thing, and this is the thing, is like, to call yourself a life coach. No, I don't know. I don't want to say something off the cuff here that I don't necessarily mean. But I feel like quite often life coaches are doing their own work, and that's okay because that's normal, because no one's perfect. So like portraying yourself as like a guru, coach, I know it all, I know how to fix your life and be perfect, I don't think that's authentic. I feel like authentic is like recognizing the imperfections and the flaws that we all have and like being okay with that and working with that. So like, you know, self-help, mental mastery, these terms, it's like, I don't know, bro, we all need help. We could all use a little bit of help, I think. Take a CRV course firstly. You will see better. Is it CRV? Is that something to do with remote viewing? Most life coaches are ex-coke heads climbing mountains, baffled that the nature is better than a stranger's kitchen. Oh, Dan Rice. I think you are contender for comment of the stream. Very good. Very good. Yeah, the absolute shock when a stranger's kitchen full of weird people that have clung onto you coming back from a club at 3 a.m. isn't actually as good as just getting out in amongst the trees and animals and the smell of fresh air. Isn't it crazy? Who would have thought? Who would have thought that? It's wild, right? I love it. We've all been there. We always appreciate authenticity here. Yes, I agree. Authenticity is it's everything. It's everything, because I think it's like there's something about it that's like undeniable. I think because authenticity, it's like it's nothing, there's nothing physical about it. It's like an energy that you can just feel. Like you can feel, and it kind of gives you this sense of like just comfort and confidence in that person. There's just something about it that it's just like, oh, I can just feel that this person is like I'm safe with this person. And I think that's like the most valuable asset going into the world that we are going into, where people are arguing, is Schmet and Schmarshmoo even alive, or is he just now an AI generated video that keeps popping up in different situations? Who knows? Because we never see him in a scenario where he can be authentic and he can try to be himself. A says there's always a book is from Hecklefish and the Y-Files. Sorry, took it the wrong way. No, Ace of Hearts. I watched the Y-Files, but you reminded me of comments that people had left on the Dana Kibble interview where they were accusing her because she had a book. So no. I didn't take your comment the wrong way. We were talking about Dana Kibble, and yeah, I just, naturally I read all the comments, right? Good and bad. And you just see people having a go at her simply because she has a book, which is just so silly to me. It's just so silly. Like, because I know that I introduced the fact that she has a book within the first 2 minutes. And it just makes me think, like, do people just hear 2 minutes and then they just start getting like steam coming out of their ears and they're like, "Argh!" on their keyboard? Like, bro, take a Valium or something. All right. Take a Valium. Just relax. Take a deep breath. Everything's going to be okay. I promise. If you don't like it, you can just leave. It's not worth the blood pressure. There's a village in England called Snetsham, which makes it even funnier. Snetisham. I bet Schmet and Schmarshmoo lives there. That's where his origin's from. Apparently his origins, he's not, isn't he like Polish or something, I've heard? His last name's not even Netanyahu. Wait, what did I just say? He who must not be named? He kind of is a he who must not be named. Same energy. Wait, can I just say, while we're on the topic of Schmet and Schmarhu, has anyone else noticed that the guy's head is disproportionately bigger than his body? Please tell me, and don't lie, because I don't want you to gaslight me into my own paranoid conspiracies. Be honest with me. Has anyone else noticed that the guy's head is just like weirdly bigger than his body? Like he's wearing a freaking head costume like they do at theme parks. When you go and hang out with the mascots and they're wearing those big heads. He's wearing one of them. He's literally, he looks like a bobblehead. Dan just says, I've seen him called bobblehead before. Exactly. He looks like a bobblehead. And I think that's because underneath that is a lizard's head. Okay? I think underneath that is a genuine lizard head. Remember how they walk among us? Remember how they walk among us according to people who have spent millions of dollars investigating the phenomenon and then they don't want to talk about it anymore because they're so scared? Maybe they're scared of the people who just love war. Maybe they don't want to talk about it anymore because the people who are walking among us love war and they're embedded in the government and the military, and they just, and they'll say, they'll look you in the eye and say, if you don't support us, there's going to be another terrorist attack here. Mm-hmm. In fact, it'll probably happen on the World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. What do you know? Hey, the guy's a fortune teller. And what did he say in like the middle of 2025 in Australia? If you guys recognize Palestine as a state, there's going to be a terrorist attack here. The guy's a fortune teller. How do they do that? How do they do that? That's crazy. He could be making money as a clairvoyant. God damn. How do they do it, huh? We need to start asking Schmet and Schmahu for the lotto numbers too. Let me catch up on these super chats, and then I've got a Suki update for you guys. 420 Breezy, my man. Unfortunately, a Minecraft player, but that's okay, bro. We'll get you on the World of Warcraft soon. We'll get you there, one thing at a time. He says it's a full pink moon and P-Shaw turned into a gray alien. Anyways, how we doing? Light up and drink yourself a bev. Thank you very much, bro. Thank you, man. And I was actually out last night, and the moon did have that kind of reddish tinge. And I guess maybe it wasn't quite full, but it looked it, and it was beautiful. In fact, because I was out filming for a travel vlog yesterday, so hopefully you guys will see that eventually. Give me time. But yeah, the moon is looking amazing. And you know what I love as well? This is just like a random little sidebar here. 420 says, bruh, sorry, dude. Did I just out you for playing Minecraft? Don't be embarrassed, dude. Don't be embarrassed. Own that shit. Own it, dude. I'm a proud RuneScape and World of Warcraft player. And if you understood the game and you saw my account, you would realize I've sunk way too many hours of my life into them. Okay. But you have to wear it as a badge of honor. Own it, dude. Own it. What I love about the moon is that, you know, there are times where the moon is still up during the day on one side of the world, and then it's obviously visible in the night in another part of the world. I love that two people on other sides of the world in those moments can look at the moon and they're both looking at the same thing. There's just something cool about that. I don't know what it is, but it makes me feel more connected to everybody. You know what I mean? He says it was a secret. Not anymore, bro. We don't do secrets here. Hey, remember, you can't have special abilities if you have secrets and you tell lies. Okay, you got to be honest. And that includes telling people that you're a little virgin Minecraft gamer. Okay, just like I'm an extreme virgin World of Warcraft player. Okay. Professor Zhang says, okay, that's how it has to be. Okay, you got to be honest. You got to be honest, bro. And that's how you get superpowers. There's nothing wrong with it. Own it, my man. Proclavith with 4 months says, in case anyone isn't aware, the Derp with Kurt podcast is killing it right now. Don't worry, Josh, you're still #1. Best community of weirdos right here. You know, I haven't watched much of Derp with Kurt, but I've seen him on a lot of other podcasts. And yeah, funnily enough, what video did he comment on the other day? The Dan Burrish. You know, you guys remember when we watched Dan Burrish maybe like, I don't know, a week or two ago? Kurt commented on that video, basically just like taking the piss out of Disclosure, which I thought was kind of funny. But I'm a fan. I think he's hilarious. Kelly says, I'll buy it. Go for it, Josh. You've done amazing. Thank you, Kelly. I assume you're referring to the book, the non-existent book. If it happens one day, you guys will be the first to know about it. Thank you. Master Forte says, really should look into the Dolce papers via Branton talking about security guard Edward Castillo. It's relevant to Phil Schneider. Interesting. Okay. I was actually thinking, I know I've said this many, many times, but I feel like it's time to do the second Phil Schneider video because I've still got his other 3 talks here. And I've been feeling it lately that maybe that'll be coming within the next month. It's time. Pim Slickens says, good morning, weirdos. Josh, I DM'd you some 6 SpaceX launch photos. The rockets used to launch close to our house. Be well, buddy. Where did you DM them, dude? On Discord? Thank you for sending that through as well, man. Thank you for the $5. I'm interested to check out those photos too. Lyndon says, hey, Josh, please look over my testimonial in the Grand Library. Posted a few weeks ago. Thanks, bud. Okay, thank you very much, Lyndon Reith. Let's give you guys some Suki updates now. We've got 3. Here's the first one. This is the land shark doing land shark things. Oh, bit too much stick. Stick clearly went down the wrong way, but that's what happens when you're a land shark and you just rip apart sticks as a hobby. You're likely to choke on them. And I've tried to tell her that you shouldn't swallow stick splinters, but she won't listen to me. Look at those ears. They are not aerodynamic, those ears, I'm telling you. She needs to fold those wings back. Oh. Full speed. 0 to 100 in a second, that bad boy. Bad girl, I should say. And then happy trot on the way back. We get an instant replay on that. Let's get an instant replay on the sprint and happy trot. Here we go. Oh, look at the speed on those back legs. What a good girl. You miss her. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck with no jet fuel. No, absolutely not. I have actually been keeping an eye on that. I don't want to get stuck in Asia. Well, if I got stuck in Asia, I'd want to be stuck in either Vietnam or Thailand. But the Philippines is likely my last stop before I come over to the States. And obviously, if things kind of keep getting worse, I don't want to get caught there. So I am conscious of that because I don't know. I haven't heard the best things about the Philippines, I'll be honest. So if I get caught anywhere, I want it to be in either Thailand or Vietnam. But we'll see. We'll see. Look at all that nature. You want to get stuck in the States? We have burgers. Astro, you guys know I hurt my ankle, was out the gym for a little while. I'm trying my best to get back in shape before the States because I know I will not be leaving the States in shape. I'm going to be getting rolled back onto a plane, okay? I like to eat, and I need to train as a requirement. Oh, we've spotted something. Sniff check. Double check. That case is still open. Case still open and unsolved. I hope you guys enjoyed that little Suki update. Thank you to Roy G. Biv in the chat. That is the man who's looking after my little girl for me. Really appreciate you sending those through, bro, and for looking after her. Let's get some love in the chat for Roy. What a legend, honestly. Absolute legend of a guy. But speaking of travel vlogs and getting caught somewhere with no fuel, no jet fuel. Yesterday, excuse me. Yesterday I did my Vietnam travel vlog, and today I filmed another one because, like I said, I leave on Sunday, and for the first half of being here, I was pretty out of action. And also just like mentally not in the right headspace to do it. So just didn't do it. And then it kind of got to the last week and I was like, shit, if I don't film a travel vlog here, I'm going to kick myself and just be so annoyed that I didn't do it. So got one together, and it's actually turned out really good. So I'm excited for you guys to see it. Hopefully you guys think it's fun. And this city is it's really beautiful. Really, really is. One thing that I didn't include in the vlog though, that I wish I did, that I think is just so funny, is that in Vietnam, they literally have communal bongs everywhere, okay? Basically, you can just be walking out on the street and there'll be buckets with, they're not actually bongs, but they do look like bongs, but they're basically giant tobacco pipes. And they're in like a tube, like, you know, it's sort of like this thick and probably about that long. And they're generally out the front of like little cafes and eateries and things like that, where everyone's just kind of hanging out on the sidewalk out the front, which is super normal. But these buckets are quite often as close to the curb and the road as they can be. And like, they are just literally, no, they're not hookers or anything. They're, I don't know how to explain it to you guys. I don't know how to explain it. It's not shisha. It's nothing like that. It's just a long ass pipe. And you can just walk up to it, stuff it with tobacco, hit it, get back on your bike and leave. There's no problem with that. You don't need to shop there. You don't need to be eating there. You can literally just walk up, pull up on your bike, pack it up, hit it, and get out of there. I thought you said communal thongs. No, that would be a hygiene issue. That would be a hygiene issue. They're not communal thongs. They are communal bongs or tobacco pipes, but they do look like bongs. And I think it's just funnier to refer to them that way. So I will continue to do so. No vapes or gummies. They do sell vapes. They're illegal here. Not weed vapes though, just like nicotine vapes. They do sell them. They're illegal, but they sell them. No gummies though. But they do have gummies and brownies in Thailand. I think that they keep flipping like back and forth between it being decriminalized there and legal and whatever. But as far as I know, they're still quite easy to get over there. So hopefully I don't get blasted off into oblivion and eat too many gummies like the last time that happened. I think I've told you guys that story before when I ate too many brownies. I'm pretty sure I told you guys that. How far are we in? Is it second beer time? Yeah. Okay. Second beer time. You want me to tell it again? Okay. So someone I know had some plants and a whole bunch of them, and these were just getting grown like just natural by the sun. Just from basically like seeds thrown out in the garden and just like whatever happens. And a bunch of them turned out to be male. Obviously, like the male plants don't create like the flower, so you know you can't like smoke them. So they had the idea of turning them into butter, right? Now I knew about the male female thing, so excuse me, sorry. When they made so they had like all these male plants, like a lot of them, and just turned it into like this big thing of butter. And we were talking, and I was like, you know, I think, you know, you need the female plant, right? Like I thought the male plant, like they don't have THC, or if they do, it's like super, super minimal. And I remember I looked on Reddit even. I went on Reddit and I was like, can you make brownies out of male plants? And Reddit was like, no, not really. Like it's not, you might get a little buzz out of it, but it's not the same. It doesn't really work. So we made brownies. And we're just like, you know what? It's probably not going to work. Let's just put all of this butter in. I love how you say butter. Butter. And anyway, so put all of this butter in and made one tray of brownies. The whole tray was probably about this big. Oh, yeah. The whole tray was probably about this big. And I got given the whole tray just to test, right? And me thinking me with a sense of false confidence from Reddit, thinking they're not going to work. I already didn't think they were going to work. So I kind of had this like confirmation in my mind. And then also there's probably like a subtle bit of ego coming into play. Like, I can have a couple of slices of this. I'll have a couple of slices of brownie. I'll be fine. This shit doesn't even work anyway. In fact, I'll even cut the slices bigger than normal because this won't work. And so like I said, this whole thing is about this big. I think I cut it into 6. So I had like, you know, 2 pieces here, 2 pieces here, 2 pieces here. And like from memory, and it's hazy, each piece is like quite fat. Okay. I had 2 pieces this big. And I'm telling you, look, I've been high before quite a few times actually. And this was completely different. First of all, okay, I'll just tell you that the height of it, I didn't leave the bed for 2 days. So that night I went to bed, obviously, pretty quickly, actually, was just hurtling through space. And I know that kind of sounds cliche, but that's the only way I can describe it. Like I'm laying there and my whole body is kind of like, you know, when you start twitching and you're like, I'm twitching so much that it's almost turning into like, am I convulsing? Like, am I convulsing here? Because my whole body's just going like there's electricity going through your body. Like everything is just getting those quick little zaps all over and you can't control it for what feels like hours. And so that's happening. Mentally, I'm just everything is spinning. I'm asking questions like, I don't understand how my mind could ever be normal again. Like my brain feels so scrambled. It would be impossible for me to ever recover from this. Like these are the kind of thoughts that I'm having, but also subconsciously in the back of my mind going, you are high as fuck. You're going to be like, you will be fine. But then at the front of my brain is going, I'm basically dead. So that's happening. Finally got to sleep. I mean, I was about to say woke up the next day, but didn't. Stayed in bed the entire day. I think, yeah, I stayed in bed the entire day. My girlfriend at the time was began to then get concerned. Kind of was like, "Is he okay?" And I couldn't move. I wasn't in bed because I was sleepy and tired. Like I was fucked still. So stayed in bed all day into that night, slept that night. I had work the next day, couldn't go. This is back when I was tutoring at university. So I was the university teacher, teaching a visual effects course. No chance. No chance I was doing that. Called in sick, was still super high, basically stayed in bed that whole second day. And then was like, starting to come out of feeling extremely high, but was so out of it still. Slept that night and then woke up the next day and I still just wanted to stay in bed all day. Like it rocked me for 3 days. And on that third day, girlfriend asked me to just come to the shops to try and like do something normal. And, I went to the shops, but I just like, I was like, nobody look at me. I don't want to be seen. Nobody look at me. And yeah, that felt like it was in my system for a long time. And like I said, I've been quite high in the past, so I'm no stranger to the feeling of like maybe I had a bit too much. This was different. This felt evil, and I'm not kidding. While it was happening, it felt like I was on the ghost train in a way. Like there was like some kind of like exterior entity that was like pulling me along for the ride and like teasing me and laughing at me and just like fucking with me. It genuinely felt like evil. And I told my girlfriend that after it happened. I was like, those brownies are different. Okay. Those brownies are different. That felt like something about that was like dark and evil. And anyway, we got over it and obviously never touched the rest of those brownies, left them in the freezer. And then girlfriend's dad came over and heard that we had brownies. And was like, oh, can I have a couple? And we were both like, no. Like these are fucked up. Like you don't want these. And again, a little bit of that male ego, just like I had, kind of pops up and he's like, no, I'll be fine. I swear, I'll be fine. And we're kind of like, all right, gave it to him. I think from what I heard, I think he had like half of what I had, maybe not even, I don't know. And what the craziest thing is, I hadn't told him my story. Neither had my girlfriend. The craziest thing is, after he had them, he said they were evil. I'm not kidding. He said the exact same thing as me. And I'm telling you, those brownies were like a portal to Baal's realm. I was in Baal's house when I took those brownies because that shit was dark. And it rocked me. It rocked me for a long time. Yeah. Evil male butter. Yeah, so I guess moral of the story is one, male plants do make butter. It's quite strong, in fact. And I think they channel an evil spirit or something like that. So if you ever want to make brownies out of male butter, just be careful. Don't overdo it. Start slow. Start with half. Have a trip sitter. Make sure you're in a good set and setting and all that kind of stuff. Good times, huh? Good times. Gotta love it. Makes for a great story. I need the Baal Element 115 butter brownies. Oh, no. Don't let that ego get a hold of you, bro. You don't want it. Trust me. Take it from me. You don't want it. Not a female divine energy. No, it wasn't. I desperately needed the divine feminine to come and rescue me because I was in Baal's hell. I was in the quarters of Baal. You went in alone and that was a mistake. You needed a guide. I think I had a guide. It was Baal. That's the problem. Like I said, Baal was guiding me through space and it was actually the first time in my life that I genuinely had paranoid, like obviously I've had paranoid thoughts before, but like, okay, when I've been high in the past, I've had paranoid. You get those little paranoid moments where you're like, oh shit, is that something? Like, no, I'm just being paranoid. I'm just freaking out. Whatever. Okay, I think that's normal. This was the first time where I was having thoughts where I was like convinced. I was like, holy fuck, I think that person's actually like Mossad and they're trying to kill me. Like not that exactly, but those are the kind of thoughts I was having. But rather than being like, no, I'm just paranoid, I was all in. I was like, oh fuck, that's real. Like that's actually happening. And the only saving grace was I was so brownied out, I couldn't do anything about it. That's the only good part, is I was so fucked, I couldn't move to like freak out. I just had to lay there in hell and be like, I think the Mossad are going to kill me. Oh, yeah. That's what happened. Meanwhile, my whole body is twitching, remember? So you can put that scene together. Me just twitching to the point of convulsion, flying through space for 3 days, thinking that the Mossad actually want to kill me. Interesting that you both had similar experiences but never told him yours. I know. That flipped me out. Because when I said it felt evil, I was being honest. But there was also a small part of me that was like, I think you just had too much brownies. Like you had way too much and you just had like a bit of a bad trip. But I really do feel like there was like an energy with it. Like it felt different to just being really high. It felt dark. That's the best way I can explain it. So when he said that too, I was like, whoa, that's you don't want that. You don't want that. Baal's brownies. Get them while they're hot. You should write a book. What about all the times I thought I've eaten too many brownies and thought the Mossad were going to get me? I don't know if that would sell too well. Actually, it might. It might sell well in this community, but that's probably the extent of its marketing. It's happened to me on peyote. I've never had any of that. That's like is that like a cactus? Or is that mescaline? There's a whole bunch of other psychedelics like that I've never touched. I've never done DMT either. The only psychedelics I've had are mushrooms and LSD. Make a butter brownie recipe book. Baal's cookbook. What else could we put in Baal's cookbook? We could do just like a recipe book. You could have like a Moloch's mojito, okay, to wash down your Baal's brownie, just to really send you to the depths of hell. Maybe get a bit of moonshine in there, bit of absinthe, just to really mess the frontal cortex up, so you never recover. I'd love to try DMT. Yeah, a part of me wants that too, but then a part of me is like, do I want it, or do I just think I want it? You know what I mean? Because it can be like that. Children's book, My Baal Brownie Trip. We could make character. I feel like it would make a good Rick and Morty episode. Definitely. No, bro, you needed someone with you not tripping that knows what you're going through and brings your vibe back to a good vibe. That's what I mean by guide. I will never trip without a trusted guide. Yeah, no, I know what you mean by trip guide. I guess, what's done is done. I've definitely had good experiences. So, like I said, even while I was going through this, even when I was believing that this, Mossad thing was going on, there was still that part of me that was like keeping like, okay, I'm going through some wild shit right now, but like you did just eat a large brownie. So, maybe that's why. If I was like all in on my delusions, I probably would have called an ambulance or something. But oh my God, I think one of the most I don't want to say embarrassing, because if you're scared for your life, you're scared for your life. It's whatever. But like, I always laugh. Like one of my exes was a paramedic, and I used to coach a lot of people who were nurses when I was working in gyms. And I would always laugh and they would always laugh and they would tell me the amount of people who come in to the emergency room or call an ambulance because they're too high. And I just think like that's it's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of funny because like as someone who's been high before, like you kind of know what they're going through and you just realize that they just flipped and went a little bit too far. So, you know, they just need to like, bro, have a shower, get a glass of water. I know it sucks, but you'll be fine. And I think that's what I was just telling myself is like, holy fuck, you just had a lot of brownies. Just write it out. Bile will go away soon and you'll be fine. You just need Xanax on hand. Yeah, that would have been nice. A Xanax would have helped and maybe a Valium too. Will Mackenzie syndrome. Is that the guy from In-Betweeners? I'm not sure if it is. I feel like it is. But even if it isn't, I feel like that Will from In-Betweeners is exactly the type to call an ambulance after he like hits a doobie. That is the archetype of the guy who goes to the ER when he smokes weed is Will from In-Betweeners. 100%. God, I love that show, by the way. Yes, we call it that in the Southwest UK. I love that. I love that. It's exactly the kind of guy, dude. That's hilarious. Drugs aren't the answer, kids. Yeah, I would agree with that, Michael, but they can be the question. I'm not condoning them, by the way. I'm not advocating for them, but they can help you ask questions. I would say that. Some of them, not heroin, okay, not ice or not meth. We can leave those out. We can have a good time without meth or heroin, okay? Just smoke a little weed, maybe have some mushrooms. We don't need to take heroin, please. Most definitely the question. Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely had some profound moments. And, you know, it's funny because you can be like, oh, I'm sure they felt profound at the time. But, like, no, I would honestly say I really do feel like I've had some profound moments just from smoking weed. And I actually found that in my younger life, like, you know, late teens, early 20s, smoked it a lot, like a lot of kids do. But then that stopped when I was like 21. And then I found later in life, obviously not now, but because it's heavily illegal here. But I found towards like my late 20s, even early 30s, that smoking it like once every 2 weeks was like, I found that really beneficial because it kind of, how do I explain this? Every day, I feel like you begin to just sort of live in this cloudy state that becomes the normal, and that feels normal. So when you're not smoking it, that feels wrong and weird, and you want to get back to that cloudy state, but because you're comfortable there. But I feel like there's no denying the fact, like when you smoke weed, even if you become like high functioning and you can do all the things that you would normally do, you're still like mentally less sharp. You're a little bit more cloudy. You're just not as good, right? I would argue that. I don't really care what people say. That's absolutely how I feel about it. However, I found that like the day-to-day life can be quite, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Like some people can live that way and be fine. But what I'm saying is, if you don't, the day-to-day life can be quite, you know, the hustle and bustle can be tense, stress. I found that like once every 2 weeks, it would almost be like a forced reflection on the last 2 weeks. And like I would, when I would smoke it, it would kind of like give me this little like, yeah, so you kind of been like a little bit of a dick the last couple of days, you know, a little bit uptight, you know, the way you spoke to your girlfriend or your parents or that person at work, like, you know, you probably need to make a bit more of an effort. That was probably a bit shit of you. You should probably be, you're not going to the gym as much as you said you would. Like I would get flooded with those thoughts. So I found that I was like, I feel like I'm telling myself all the things that I need to hear, and this is helping me do it. But obviously you don't get that when you do it every day. It just becomes like your daily normal. But I found that there was like this nice balance where like every couple of weeks it would just kind of like reset me a little bit and give me reminders that I knew that I needed. I don't know if that's the same for everyone, but that's how I found it to be really beneficial. Weed is great for introspection, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree. And I guess that's why people who like do smoke it a lot, and that's why like the stoner archetype, I guess, is someone who's like very chill and just easygoing and kind, because I guess really that's how we all want to be, right? We all want to be easygoing, easier to get along with, and that kind of is the stoner type. But and that's kind of what I like about weed. Like what I like about it is that chilled, relaxed, easygoing. But what I don't like is feeling stupid. I hate that. I hate the way it blunts my like mental acuity. There's like, if you're sitting around smoking, hanging out with people, and then like someone asks me a question and I'm just like, I hate that. I don't like that. I like to be like sharp and be able to answer. So when that would happen, I'd be like, man, this sucks. I feel retarded more than normal. I feel more retarded than normal, and normal's already enough. So that is what used to put me off. So like when I could find that happy balance, that's what would work for me. Yeah, I'm a very impatient person, but this helps me calm my thoughts and actions. Yeah, I agree, bro. Agree. And I also feel like the modern society is so fast paced. You're getting updates every second on every device, all of them strapped to your body and, coming from everywhere. I don't feel like it's a bad thing that people use it as like a vice or like a coping mechanism to just try to like have their time like away from their chaotic, insane lives, to just like chill out, play some video games, watch a movie, or just wind down, because it can be hard to wind down. I think there's other things we can do for sure, like meditation and stuff like that. And that works for some people. Some people will meditate and smoke weed. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with smoking weed at all. And I think it affects people differently. But for me, once every 2 weeks felt like a really good sweet spot. But also quite often, like most people, that would then spiral into like maybe once a week. Once every 3 days. Oh, I'm high every night again. It happens, right? It's just normal stuff, I think. Feed says MDMA definitely messed up my memory skills. Sorry, what did you say? Sorry, what was that? I can't remember. Sorry, what was that? I went to DEF CON too many times. What did you say, Feed? I feel you, bro. I would also say though, like anything, I think maybe not anything, but a lot of things can have a really good, like a positive effect. Like I absolutely believe that mushrooms can help people, and I believe MDMA can too. I believe you can therapeutically dose MDMA, not something you probably do forever, but I think I saw MDMA. I experienced MDMA change my psyche a little bit. And then, because it's not regulated, because you're just buying pills off, some random 19-year-old in his Holden Commodore, and it's just like, there's no regulation, there's no rules, there's no like real education on it. So you just keep taking them because you're like, wow, I've never felt so positive in my life. I've never had like such a good perspective and outlook. So I want to do it again and again and again and again and every weekend for years. So that's when it becomes a problem. But I do think there's something in the fact where like if someone was really struggling, it could potentially like help show them like another perspective, or like it helps like lift up their mindset. And then perhaps with like coaching, or maybe like regulated therapeutic doses, it could be a really good thing. But, eating 10 pills and going to a techno club every weekend, it probably isn't what I would call therapeutic. I only want what comes out of the ground. I think that's a really good approach. I definitely think that's a really good approach, dude. Not the dude in the Holden Commodore. Yeah, it's always the Commodore, bro. Is he even your drug dealer if he's not driving a Commodore from before 2003? Probably not. If your drug dealer's Holden Commodore is from after 2003, he's a cop. Snip Snap Moth says, I also had an incident with brownies, but I went full dementia and couldn't remember who I was. Oh, damn. That's wild. That's scary. That sounds like LSD in a way when you start just like, yeah, the way I feel like LSD and psychedelics in general. God, this is turning into a bit of a degenerate stream, but whatever. We're here now. The way I've tried to explain LSD to people, by the way, like I'm not some person taking drugs all the time. I feel like I just need to reiterate this. Okay. When I was younger, a lot, sure. But not really these days. Anyway, the way I've always said LSD, like you could never explain LSD to someone who's never taken it because their psyche, their mental state of mind has never been there. So like, you know, how can you explain something to someone and it's like a concept that they just can't grasp? Like if you've never had the effect of being on LSD and having like your perception like completely warped, you don't even have a framework of reference to understand what that even is. You can think you know, you can get explained and be like, oh yeah, I think I get what acid is like. But no, when you take it, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, oh fuck, this is different. So I think that's really interesting. It's like explaining the taste of chocolate. Yeah, I think it's harder. I think it's harder because I think with chocolate, you could perhaps, you know, you have like ingredients there that you could help identify the taste with. But I feel like LSD, it's almost like it's, you know, your mind goes to a different frequency or something. I don't even know how to explain it. The best way I explain it is, I think with like a reasonable dose, like nothing crazy, it's almost like being born again in a way. At least this is my experience on it. It's like being born again. And like if I was to look at this microphone, I wouldn't be looking at it going, oh yeah, that's my Shure microphone that sounds like it has way too much gain and doesn't sound good. And I wish I didn't bring it with me while I was traveling. I would be looking at it going, oh, this is like this, I've got this like hard metal and this like foam cover. Oh, that's spongy. That's an interesting texture. And there's these bolts in here. How did they go in? Like, it's like you're seeing it for the first time and you're trying to understand what it is and how it's made up. And it's like a genuinely new thing. That's what I mean by it's like being born again. Like everything you look at, it's like it's almost like how a baby would look at it, I think, like a completely foreign concept, and you get to perceive it again for the first time. Does that resonate with anyone, or is this just the weird things that I do on acid? I think that's kind of accurate though. Yeah, I love it. Curiosity. Yes, a super heightened curiosity. 100%. You're resonating? Yep. Stop fondling the mic. Yeah, I know. I can't help it. Okay, a lot of people are agreeing. I like that. I'm glad it's not just me having a strange experience. Yeah. Dan says, I remember looking at some trees from below and learning how they don't touch each other. And that was so awesome. I was staring for ages. Yeah. That's another thing that I know is universal with this stuff is there's something about looking at trees. And I do think part of it is maybe to do with the fact that like if there is like when you see them just move slightly in the wind, that probably increases the effect, but it does feel you are just struck with this like unavoidable feeling that they are alive, or they're conscious is probably a better way to term it, that they're conscious. And that's just like, it's like when you're on it, it's almost just like, oh, this is obvious. It's not even like a discovery. It's just like, oh my God, this thing is clearly alive. I first took mushrooms and LSD in the 80s together, both at the same time. It's brave. I've never been someone to really mix things. That gets a little bit dangerous. I'm not a risk taker, okay? Despite the fact that you guys probably think I'm some kind of like drug-riddled addict now. I'm not, I promise. I'm actually a very calculated person. Even like when I go on theme parks and things like that, like I don't like, you know, little pop-up theme parks and shows that rides that get folded up and then taken to the new show destination. Bro, you never catch me on one of those ever, because I weigh up the risk to reward ratio, and the risk to reward ratio on those like carnival rides can go to hell. I don't need like 2 minutes of like, woo. If there is like a 5, 10, or even 5% chance that like my cart is going to go flying off like they seem to do like twice a year, I just don't need to do that. I don't need it. I don't care. I'm not deprived of thrill and excitement in my life that much that I need to do that. So I just don't. I've never skydived. I probably would skydive, although that is definitely bridging it's pushing the boundary of the risk reward ratio for me. That's a hard thing to say. Risk reward ratio. That's pushing the boundary. It would be amazing. Like, I don't doubt that it would be awesome and it would be a sick experience. I really do think that. But also it's like, who packed my parachute? I don't know them. Did they come in after eating too many brownies? Did they come into work after too many brownies like I nearly did teaching my uni class? And did he pack my parachute? I don't know. I'm rolling the dice with my life just for 5 minutes of woo, and then I'll land and I'll be like, okay, that's all right. Back to my life now. All to possibly die. So, you know, you do have to live a little. You do have to live a little. I know that. But also, you know, ratios exist. Also, that's why I don't really like going in the ocean. Yeah, I know. Shock. Australian doesn't like the ocean. But the thing is, though, I actually do love the beach. I do like the beach. I love being at the beach. I love the vibe and the energy there. I love taking Suki down to the beach. But I don't really want to go in the ocean water, especially in Australia anyway, because we have sharks. At least where I live, there are a lot of shark sightings. So, like, what? I'll just go have a bath. There's no sharks in my bath. So, you know, I don't need to do that. Also, if I am going to go in the ocean, I'm only going in the spot where lots of other people are in the water. So I'm not the only target. I want to be in a group of people and probably in the middle and closer to the shore. So if the shark comes in, it eats someone else before me. Okay, I'm just being honest. I'm thinking about these things. I'm calculated. If I'm going in the ocean, I'm going to make sure that it's likely a shark will eat someone else before me because I value my life. And a little piddlywink swim in the ocean is not worth dying for in the jaws of a great white shark. Thank you. I'd rather just have a bath at home. I miss the beach, still don't trust the water. How's that going, Rob? Has the algae situation cleared up in Adelaide? Surely it has by now. Surely that's got to be better. Have you not been back since? Josh always thinking 3 steps ahead. I really am. I really am. And that's probably not always a good thing because, you know, it is important. It's important to live in the moment 100%. But also, you know, a little wahoo swim at the risk of a shark, I'll just be like, bro, I would rather go to, who's got a pool? I'm coming over. Done. No sharks, Case closed. I'm happy. I'm the same. Love the beach, hate the ocean. Oh, I'm so glad, Peter. You know why? It's because we're weirdos, right? See, only people like us would understand this. And that is why we have this beautiful little tribe in this dark, creepy corner of the internet. It's not creepy. It's creepy in a good way. It's good creepy. Jaws? Yeah, exactly. I've seen Jaws. I wrote a paper on it at uni, actually. What did I write a paper on? About the... God, what is it called? Mise en scène? Mise en scène? Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while. Old Soul Joe says, can't do Drew anymore. I'm a full-blown addict. Now I get high on life. Love and honesty. Got my family back when I finally got clean after 35 years. Oh, dude, that's awesome to hear. That is fantastic. Good on you, bro. And when you say can't do Drew, does that mean do you mean Dro, like hydro? Like the sticky icky? The shit that literally probably gives you an inhaled form of CTE? Is that what you mean by Drew? Perfectly Imperfect says, do acid. I just want to take this chance to remind everyone that do not take health, financial, or any other advice from the live chat, okay? Make your own decisions in life and take accountability for them too. Ah, drugs, right. Probably meant drugs. Yeah, dope. Of course. Maybe I've had too much Drew. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's awesome, bro. I'm glad you got your shit together and your family back. Let's get some love in the chat for Old Soul Joe. Drugs are bad when they're not taken in moderation. I think anything can be okay in moderation. Yep, just like Brandon said. That's right. How much is moderation? Yeah, well, I think that's I'm not going to tell you guys what moderation is. That's what you guys need to figure out. So you guys need to figure out. I need to respect my what is the word? Like my legalities, my boundaries. I'm just a UFO content creator, okay? I can't be giving you guys advice on this stuff, unfortunately. Anything is bad without moderation. Yes, I 100% agree. Even not even substances, I would say. Even video games. You hear that, Susie? You hear that, Susie? Even video games are bad without moderation. And I know that, okay? Everything needs to be done in moderation. Take that, Mom. I live where it was filmed, but it's real now. Too many damn seals. Are you talking about Jaws? All right. I'm at the bottom of the chat. How long have we got? We've been live. We got about half an hour left. I'm at the bottom of the chat. If you have any questions or topics to help me veer away from the fact that we are going down a deep hole of consuming narcotics, which are highly illegal, and I do not recommend anyone take them. Get at me. WoW is Baal. No, Nintendo is Baal. Nintendo is Baal because they keep putting out the same shit Pokemon game with a new skin after 20 years when everyone just wants them to make a game in Unreal Engine in an MMO format and be done with it. Nintendo is literally Baal. I'm sorry. And WoW? No, I disagree. Sorry. Although WoW, if any game needs to be done in moderation, it absolutely is WoW because that is that's a real life stealer. Yep. Real relationship destroyer. We found that out firsthand. Can you please go to a UFO sighting spot in any of your next stops in travels, please? Look, I don't know if there's many UFO sightings in Bangkok, unfortunately. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be in the States. When I'm in the States, I'll be doing that for sure. I'm going to go do, I mean, I'm hopefully going to do lots, but I'm really looking forward to doing the tour with Melinda Leslie in Sedona, which I should probably message her about actually, and book it in. But yes, I'm doing that. I think Bill Gates is Baal. I think that's a pretty good shout. Actually, the Baal tier list came out. Now, I'm not going to show you guys. I was thinking about posting it because I've done tier lists in the past and it was really funny. But it did have the president on there, and I'm trying to get inside America, not get rejected. So, you know, so guys, let me just say now, if you start seeing some like really random, like pro-America propaganda from me being posted on the United States, it's because I'm trying to get let in. Okay? Don't tell anyone. I might start putting on a front, maybe like a month out before I'm meant to be there. If I start posting things like God bless America and like, you know, bald eagles and stuff like that, it's because I want to get let in. Okay? So just don't tell anyone. I'm letting you guys know just so you don't think I've gone off the rails, but that might start happening just to improve our chances. But I also do agree with those things. I do love America. I think you guys are amazing. Again, distinction from government and people. I think all our governments suck. All our governments suck. Mine does. Yours does. Just kidding. Most do. But the people are amazing. Josh, Billy, Bob, Polarity. Yep. I want all of it. I had to hire a car. Obviously, I had to hire the F-150 truck. Okay. I'm embodying the American spirit. And if I can get an American flag, you know, hooked on the tray to be flown from it, I will do that. Okay. And I will play country music loudly with my windows down as I'm cruising through the desert, because I am here to be one of you guys. I'm embodying your spirit, and I can't wait. Bro, I'd love for you to come here. If you're from the States, I am. This isn't a pipe dream. This is in the works. This is happening. We are going to be at Contact in the desert. I have an F-150. Hell yeah. Do you have a flag in the back? Let's drag race or something. Is that what you guys do over there? You guys drag race? You do Fast and Furious, right? Let's drag race. The gun thing, though, dude, that's what's so beautiful about the country is the gun thing. I know, and you know, it took me a long time to come around to this because, like most Australians who don't grow up around guns, I was kind of like, wow, like, do you guys have to have all those guns? You know, just like that's a pretty rational thought to be like, that's actually a rational thought. It is. And I think most people think that. But then after kind of seeing the world for what it is, I'm kind of like, oh my God, please don't give up your guns. You guys are the final frontier. You are the last stand. You are basically the last stand. And if the American people get disarmed, then the people get disarmed. That's what I really believe. I feel like they're like the last stand against an oppressive government, which, you know, kind of means like, if it goes to like some kind of like civil war, well, I mean, this is the thing. Civil war could really only happen if the people keep their guns, right? And obviously no one wants civil war. No one wants war. But why would you have a civil war? Because the people know that they are oppressed by people who pretend like they are working for them and in their favor, which is what a government is meant to do. Government is meant to be employed by the people. That's why you pay taxes, right? But like, it's quite evident that this has become a scam, that like we all pay taxes, but the people in charge don't give a fuck about us. They don't have your best interests at heart, and they don't act on your behalf. They maybe like pretend like they do, or they do a little bit, but like, look at the world. No one really wants things to be that like they are, but they just kind of keep steam training in this direction. And sorry. And I think if America gives up their guns, now there's no hope of that ever changing, ever. I can't see, like, that's just no hope of that. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to go do? Fight the AI police that have machine guns with a knife? Like, so it's over. So that's why I think that. But again, it took me a while to come to that. I like most people, thought it was stupid and crazy that these people had so many guns, but now I think I get it. We have no hope in Australia. Yeah, well, I mean, we all grew up knowing about the Port Arthur massacre, right? Which was, in a way, it's almost kind of like Australia's 9/11. Now, it's nothing on that scale, but there is so much stuff coming out now that this was like a false flag attack to create gun control in Australia, to create the gun laws that we now have today. And there are a lot of people speaking out about the fact that, like, the amount of people who died don't match don't match the description of the shooting and the killer. Like, for how long the shooting took place and the bullet wounds in the people who died, people say that this was like a highly trained, precise, accurate shooter, many deaths very quickly, headshots, things like this. But then, like, the story that we're given is that he was just like a crazy guy who like lost his mind and, just went crazy with a gun or something, classic like Tyler Robinson style explanation. And then what do you know? No one has guns anymore. So I actually, God, I never really got back to them, but I got in touch with these guys. I think they're called WASP files. Maybe some of you guys have heard of that, or I have the name wrong, but I think there's a channel or a guy who calls himself WASP files. And the Port Arthur thing is like his main focus. He does other things, I think, but he really focuses on the Port Arthur case and the fact that it was like a psy-op. And he's got a whole case about it. And I spoke to him to have him on the channel. And then I think I didn't ever reply. Sorry. Not intentional. Just the squirrel brain got away from me. But I'm sure I could hit him up again and we could do it. But yeah. It's an interesting case. Yeah, that is it. It is WASP files. Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad because he did get back to me quickly and then I lost track. This is a while ago, by the way. This is probably like over 6 months ago that I got in contact with him. There was actual footage of him shooting people, though, and he was a very disturbed person. Interesting. I would like to see that. Well, not for fun, but as in the name of an investigation, it would be interesting to see that footage. The majority of all governments need to be dragged out and 100% replaced. Yeah, I mean, I do believe that there are good actors in governments. I really do believe that. Like, I think there is a massive handful of people. Like, I'll use Tim Burchett as an example, and I might be wrong. I could be wrong. But I feel like Tim Burchett is an example of someone with good intentions who's made their way into a position and then has realized like the constraints and the games and the politics that are played, and that the idea that representatives of their state, senators and people in these positions have all the power and influence to collectively come together and make change is a bit of a facade. And that they kind of get in there and realize, like, yeah, you can change like this much, but the problem is like this big and you're not touching any of this, but like you can pretend over here, like you can make a few little changes and, wave your flag and be like the cool senator or whatever. But like the real problems are way out of their hands. And I think people get to those positions and then they kind of realize that. And then it's kind of like, oh, well, I don't know, like, what else am I? I don't know. What am I going to do? That ain't no fish. There you go. There's my American accent for the day. Shout out Tim Burchett. What is his accent, by the way? Like, he's like, is he from Tennessee? Am I going to Tennessee? No, I'm not. I wish I was. I'm going to Louisiana. That's kind of similar, right? Burchett and Burleson are genuine, but they don't hold power. To get to the power, you need to play the game. Well said, Dan. Well said. I agree with that too. I think Burleson is genuine as well. Hello from Tennessee, USA. Hello, Mel. Lovely to have you here. Cajun accent is different. God, I love Americans. I love how proud you are. And I love how diverse your country is. You've got so many different accents. And, I've never been there, so I don't really know. But just from, researching and looking from an outside perspective, not just does a lot of the states feel like, their own little country from a cultural perspective, but from like an environmental perspective, like you've got the Grand Canyon, like the desert, the plains, and then you've got like Washington State where it's like beautiful lush green, and then you've got like the swamps. You've got the hovercraft swamps and alligators down in Louisiana, Miami and Florida. Like, dude, what a cool diverse country. I genuinely can't wait. Dollywood is overrated. Don't waste your time. I'm looking at my keyboard to see if you made a typo, but for Hollywood. I don't know if Dollywood is something else. If you mean Hollywood, trust me, I have no real interest in like anything to do with Hollywood. That's basically Baal's spellcasting academy. And yeah, don't care for it. I mean, I'd maybe take a picture of the Hollywood sign if I saw it from fucking miles away, but I'm not going to go out of my way to go like, I'm going to go hike to the Hollywood sign. No. Why? So I can take a picture with Baal's headquarters. Dollywood is Dolly Parton's theme park in Tennessee. Okay, interesting. Is it good? I don't think I would go, to be honest. It doesn't really sound like my kind of thing, but I know who Dolly Parton is. I just didn't know she had a theme park called Dollywood. You'll be going to LA though. I will be going to LA, but not really to hang out. I land in LA and then the next day I drive out to Contact in the desert, and then I'm not going back to LA after that. I wouldn't waste my money. Yeah, I think if I was going to go to a theme park, it would probably be... Actually, if I was going to go to... I mean, I would like to go to Universal just for like the Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. Like that's kind of cliche. But if I was going to go to a theme park, I would go to... is it like Six Flags or something? That's meant to be like a really big one with like extreme rides. A place like that, I would go because the rides aren't getting packed up and shut down 3 times a year or more. And I would assume something that big with a really reputable name, the rides are probably serviced. You can see I'm really concerned about my safety, okay? Again, risk-reward ratio. Rides are over in 2 minutes. I have a lot of years left in my life. I have to make sure it's worth it, okay? So Six Flags I would probably do, and because I think the rides would be sick there. Six Flags in Jersey. So, okay, Six Flags is in New Jersey. Don't know if I'll be on that part. I might. Does anyone know, am I going to have trouble getting in if I don't have a ticket out? Do you think that's going to be an issue? Because I wanted to just kind of not buy a ticket out and just leave whenever I'm ready. But I don't know if that's going to be an issue getting in. I went to Movie World today and I'm itching for more roller coasters. Don't get me started. Movie World is sick. I do like Movie World. Even though it's basically like kind of like Hollywood. And I was just shitting on it, but Movie World is cool. No, yes, maybe. Oh, I love asking the chat questions. I love asking the chat questions and I get like so many different responses. I end up more confused than before I ask the question. Joshua, rolling the dice with ice, just saying. Isn't ice like for people in your country illegally? I have my visa. I'm legal. I have funds. I can support myself. Come on, Josh. We'll take you to all the Freemason and Tartarian spots in New York City. Then we'll head to Six Flags Great Adventure. Patrick and I can work on itinerary. I would love to do that. I really would. Maybe I would like to see the Freemasonry, but not. I don't need to go in. I look at it. I can appreciate it from the outside. Trump's being strict because of the World Cup. Yeah, I have heard that. I have heard that. But like, God, that would be such a, what's the word? Disaster sounds a bit extreme, but we'll go with it. If heaps of people who fly to the World Cup to go see the World Cup don't get let in, like if that becomes like a massive thing, like that's not going to look good for them, for FIFA. I mean, I don't really think they care, but like I just think surely they wouldn't. Like the point of the World Cup is to get people in your country and to boost tourism. So it would kind of be like counterproductive to like turn people away for like, I don't know, saying something against Trump on social media, which seems to be like the common idea of why people are getting turned away. Not that I would say that, because I love Trump. I love MAGA. I am all for everything that Trump does until I get in. Until I get in and then get out safely. And then I can speak my mind. 420 Breezy says the South, if your state has Spanish moss, then you are in the South. What is Spanish moss? Is that like a weed strain? You're good, Josh. Don't worry about it. Okay, thank you, DTP. Wear a MAGA hat. Dude, that's actually a good idea. I should wear a MAGA hat on entry. If I can find one before I go, I'll do it. I'll wear a MAGA hat with 2 little Israel flags as I walk through customs. Woohoo! War, war, war. They'll let me go straight. I'll walk through straight. They'll say, you know what? Go through the VIP line. Don't even worry about it. Passport, it's fine. Keep going. Rent one of those smaller RVs for 1 or 2 people and drive around the States. Go wherever, whenever. Oh, dude, that would be so sick. If I was traveling with someone, if I had someone with me for like the whole trip, having a camper van or something like that would be really, really cool. I would love to do that. That was actually kind of how I pictured this trip in the beginning, was doing like a road trip and parking up and camping. And I would love to do that one day. But because it's going to be the middle of summer and I'm going to be going through like Nevada, Utah, Arizona, I don't know if that would be the comfiest night's sleep. So next time, if all goes well, man, like I see myself coming back 100%. Lol, yes, Israel flag's the best way to get in. Yeah, scary, huh? I would love to camp like in, Joshua Tree, Yosemite, Sequoia, up in like Washington State. I feel like that would be really, really cool. We're going to welcome you with open arms. Thank you, Mad Hatster. Can't wait, man. Thank you very much. Mel says, I'm one of the members of Chuck Swindle's crew. If you find your way close to Nashville, Tennessee, I have an extra bed so you don't have to pay for a hotel. Oh, thank you, Mel. That's really kind. Appreciate that. Yeah, I would love to get up to Nashville. I love Nashville chicken. I've never had it from Nashville, but it's like a famous thing, right? Nashville chicken, and they sell it all over the world. I could only imagine it's even better in Nashville. So maybe I have to make the trip. I do love food, so that could be worth it for me. Josh in Joshua Tree. If I went to Joshua Tree, I would have to get a photo in a tree. Josh in a tree in Joshua Tree. What a shot. Josh, keep doing what you're doing, bro. We're here for you and the channel. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate that, man. Very proud of our Tim Burchett. Yeah, what a legend. What a legend. You're an Aussie, you'll get in. F FIFA, they're corrupt, but they did. Yeah, FIFA are kind of sus, to be honest. Pack your guitar, Josh. I don't have my guitar with me, unfortunately. I would love to have that with me, but yeah, I got 2 suitcases and a guitar doesn't fit in either, unfortunately. Akey, my man, what did he say? Oh God, Aki, you're giving me something technical after I've had a few beers. Glamour, 1715, Scottish magic enchantment, especially in phrase to cast the glamour. A variant of Scottish grammar magic enchantment spell, an alteration of English grammar. In a specialized use in a medieval sense, especially occult learning. Oh my God, Aki. What content? What are we talking about, bro? Dude, you've got me. Thank you, dude. Thank you for the $100, first of all. And the reason, because I feel bad that I don't understand your message and you've donated so much money. Are you talking, is this something to do with like the English language? Something to do with the English language and spell casting? I don't know, man. Help me out, chat. You broke Vinny? You did, dude. Thank you very much for the $100. And I do know what you're referring to because we have been conversing privately, but this message is just hard for me to decode right now, especially when I have the pressure of however many people watching me. Thank you though, dude. Very generous. And let's follow this up privately because I am interested in trying to understand what you're saying. 420 Breezy says the South. Oh wait, we did that one. No, I thought I missed one here. Never mind. You have an extra guitar? Yeah, see, that's the thing about guitars is that even if you don't have one with you, a lot of people do, and you can always just jump on a guitar. It's etymology, Josh. Yeah, I can tell it's something to do with language, but like I just explaining what it means, I'm not in the right headspace, unfortunately. But like I said, Aki, hit me up, bro. You know where to reach me. Let's all meditate on 2 p.m. on Easter. Let's ask Lady to appear, mass consciousness from everyone. Interesting you say that. So you guys, I've said that I'm leaving to Thailand on Sunday. I want to have one more stream here before I do. I don't know when that'll be. Friday or Saturday, maybe both. I'm not going to promise anything because, you know, you never know what the brain wants to do, but there'll definitely be one. And then Sunday's the day that I go to Thailand. So, I mean, Sunday for me and people in Australia is Easter. So I'm obviously not going to have a stream that day, but I would really like to have like a special long stream on Monday. So the first day that I'm in Thailand. I don't know what I want to do yet, but I would like to try and put something together like, because, you know, that's the original like Easter 2026 Bledsoe Judgment Day. Well, you know, it wasn't necessarily Judgment Day, but, you know, that whole thing. I feel like that would be a cool stream. It's just whether I can get it together or not while I'm traveling and whatnot. I'll do my best. I think either way, there will be a stream on Monday, which will be Sunday in the States. So that's what's coming up in the next couple of days. Chris Ramsey interview dropping next week. I felt like there was something else. And travel vlogs. I don't know when the next one's going to drop, but it is on my list. I do want to get them a little bit more consistent because I now have 3. I've got 3 travel vlogs unedited. So it's just about getting them consistently coming as well. I'm doing my best out here, team. We are raw dogging life and we're making it happen slowly, but we are getting there. And I just appreciate you guys being here, supporting me, hanging out, chatting, even when we're just talking about absolutely random balls, brownies, and everything that comes before and after that. When Chris Ramsey? Oh God, it's already started. It's already started. Soon, people. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Guys, thank you very much for watching. We've done about 2 hours, and I think that's a good amount. Is the It is. Wow. The campfire is still going. People are still in there. It is at 102 hours and 7 minutes right now. So guys, like I said, if you want to come and hang out, people have been hanging out in the Discord, chatting, streaming shows for over 100 hours now. That's in the member section. If you want to become a member, there is a join button below. It's about $5 a month. You get access to that. Members only live streams and which we haven't really done in a while. And I'm sorry. I was actually going to play GeoGuessr at the end of this one. It didn't happen. maybe we should just hang out and play GeoGuess It in the member section soon as well. If you can also grab a hoodie if it's getting cold where you're at, or maybe a singlet if it's getting warm, over on the merch store, and you can follow me down there as well. But the best support is just hanging out here, getting involved, and spreading the love. Thank you guys. Be good, be kind, get outside, touch some grass, and I'll see you all at least once within the next few days. Peace.
Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.